Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Discovery webinar around the South African innovation and tech ecosystem, and more specifically, a webinar surrounding the presentation of the French tech in South Africa. So my name is Ann-Mareme ATAYI. I work as an African projects manager within the EuroQuity team of the French Public Investment Bank based here in Paris. And I am joined in the assembly by our partners from Bpifrance, from the French Embassy, as well as my colleagues that are based in Nairobi, covering also the South African region. So I will have the pleasure of moderating today's session. Like I said, that is a discovery session, an exchange session around the French tech in South Africa. So if this is your first time participating in such webinars, it is a webinar that is organized by the Africa and French Entrepreneurs Community. So it's a digital and a physical business community that was created about 2 years ago that serves two purposes. The first one is to create a network built upon the entrepreneurs, members of the portfolio of Bpifrance, Digital Africa, ProParcours, the French Development Agency, the French Public Investment Bank, the embassy networks in Africa, as well as the chambers of commerce based in Africa and in France, with the aim of connecting everyone from different sectors. We have over 25 sectors, over 20 nationalities, African nationalities within the community, as well as French entrepreneurs. And the second aim of this community, and today's session serves as a great example, is to help you entrepreneurs, whether French or African, have a better overview of the French offer in terms of financing and in terms of business support. So if you have not done it yet, feel free to reach out to me. I think that you all have my mails, being that I've sent the invitations, if you want to be a part of this digital adventure. So once again, thank you for joining us today. Absolutely thrilled to have this webinar on the French tech. So as a reminder, and I had put it in my mail, the mission of the French tech is to help French startups in developing their activities, also assist South African entrepreneurs in developing their activities or to set foot in France, as well as creating a vast ecosystem to better foster some business opportunities. So it is my pleasure today to welcome Arnaud Blanchet, who is the actual president of the French tech in South Africa. And we will be joined later on by Émilie de la Vallée, that's a startup that is a member of the French Tech in South Africa network, to also give her testimony. So without any further ado, Arnaud, thank you so much for connecting today. We're very thrilled to have you, and I will give you the floor to present the French tech. And our fellow participants, in the meanwhile, please feel free to use the chat to present yourself, to ask some questions, as after Arnaud's presentation, we will have a Q&A session. Thank you. Arnaud, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you very much, Ann-Mareme. So first of all, sorry for the noise that you might hear in the background. I'm in a place where they're doing some work, so I'll try to mute every time there's too much noise. So the aim for me is really to present. Is that really bad, or can you still hear me?
No, we can hear you perfectly. I can't hear a thing.
Great, that's good. So yeah, the aim is to present La French Tech South Africa and to give you a bit more examples of what we do and information about what we do. So the first thing that we work for, and the three missions that we have, are helping French entrepreneurs to develop their business in South Africa. So that means helping them to set up a company, helping them to meet the network of entrepreneurs that we've got here, of companies that can help them, putting them in touch with the right partners for their business. So that's our first mission. We've done it for a few solo entrepreneurs, but we also try to help companies that want to come to South Africa. We're in touch, and the part of our board at the French Tech South Africa, we're in touch with Bpifrance as well as the French Embassy. So we've got the institutional network, I would say, to back us up on that. We also have the French Chamber of Commerce, the South African French Chamber of Commerce, that is part of our network. So they play a role in helping people to develop their business here. So that's the first point. and our first mission. You can just contact me if you've got a project to develop in South Africa, and we can take it from there. The second mission that we have is to help South African entrepreneurs to relocate to France. So there are some needs for the French ecosystem that might require some tech that have been developed in South Africa. And for that, we help South African entrepreneurs that either have already identified a market for them or need help to identify the market. And so we put them in touch with the French tech ecosystem here in France. We put them in touch with the different events that they could participate in, as well as the industrial or business partners that might make sense for them. So this is our second type of mission. And the third one is, and that's the one that I'll spend perhaps a bit more time on, is to participate in the animation of the local ecosystem, the local startup ecosystem. So we try to connect startups in South Africa, be they French or started by French entrepreneurs or completely South African. We want to help them to develop their business. And so for that, we've got a series of events that we organize and projects that we work on, which aim is to foster collaboration between startups and groups. So the first of this project is one that we do with the French South African Chamber of Commerce, and it's called Le Bridge. So it's literally an event that we organize every 2 months that try to put in touch startups with corporates on a specific topic. So we've done one on AI, where we've put a company that helped hotels group to develop the way they use AI to do bookings and to develop the revenue. It was a French startup. We put them in touch with all the big hotel groups in South Africa. So that was one of the example of the event that we did. And next month, we organize one on education with Dassault System, with Schneider, and with Trace Academia, with the aim of showing how startups can work on education models for let's say B2B solutions to develop with companies. So that's one very concrete way that we put startups in touch with the corporates that can become either clients or partners. And the second type of event that we organize is called the Green Tech Ecosystem Exchange. So this is specifically around green technology, any tech or any innovation that is linked to the environment, to water. And the aim is really to try to foster this particular sector and the startups working in it by helping them to match with the market opportunities. So we map all the stakeholders, startups, corporates, experts in the sector in France and in South Africa, and then we map the market opportunities. So one example would be that Cape Town is investing 5.5 billion rand on green energy, and especially hydrogen. They don't have all the answers and all the resources to do that. They will need some other startups or corporates to do it. And so they're looking for specific things. So we map all these resources, and the aim is then to create workshops, events, to try to do a match of these different stakeholders to address all these market opportunities. So that's for a short presentation of what we do. Perhaps just to elaborate on who we are, we're mainly entrepreneurs, all based in South Africa, but with activities in other African countries as well. And so we're a board of 10 volunteers. We've got some investors, we've got entrepreneurs in the water solution. For myself, I work on distribution and marketplace in townships. We've got other people that are more dedicated to digital marketing. So we've got really a wide range of expertise that enable us to provide support for entrepreneurs that want to develop. So that's what we're working on. And of course, we would welcome any entrepreneurs that is interested in the South African market to contact us and contact me. You're welcome to do it on the chat. I'll be happy to keep all your contact details and come back to you. And if you know any green tech stakeholder working in South Africa or in France or any market opportunity, we're very actively working on that. So very interested to hear from you as well.
Thank you very much, Arnaud, for this presentation of the French tech. So on my behalf, I do have some questions, but then once again, I think that well, the whole aim of this session is to obviously have some interactions between the entrepreneurs and you and our different teams. So once again, inviting everyone to use the chat to ask your questions. And we actually have one saying, hi, Arnaud, do you facilitate and assist companies that offer capacity building?
So I guess we could. What type of capacity building do you offer? And where are you based, or where do you want to be based?
So, well, that's...
I'm asking that to Asia, I guess.
Yes,
we'll wait to get her answer,
waiting.
and then very happy to take this conversation further if you want also, Asia. But we don't have a specific sector or specific type of companies that we help. So we would be very happy to discuss and see how we can include what you're doing into our activity. The aim for us is really to foster other people's businesses without any specific, except for the green tech ecosystem exchange, where we've got a very sector focus. But for the others, we're very happy to assist any type of companies. And by that, I mean that it has to be a business, but we're not focused either on a specific legal structure. So I guess if we had someone coming to us and is not registered as a company, but as a business nonetheless, I don't know, carried by an NGO or something like that, it's not a blocker for us. The aim is more to assist to develop businesses than anything else.
Maybe to elaborate on this question, because maybe this was also one of the underlining questions within, is if I am, for instance, an incubator or an accelerator from South Africa, I can also join your network. It's not just companies.
Completely. So of course, our aim is really to assist entrepreneurs. So we might have less interest for an accelerator or an incubator, because what we offer might be of less value for their business. But we can certainly put them in touch with startups. We can certainly put them in touch with corporates that might want to work with the startups they're incubating. So there's always opportunities to work together and to do something together.
Okay.
At least to take part to our event, for example.
Okay. Thank you very much, Arnaud. So while the participants are maybe asking some other questions, I had a few on my side. Well, having worked within the French tech and innovation ecosystem, it is something that, that is quite recurring in the remarks that we have for the entrepreneurs, is that the French offer is very rich, but very dispersed. So maybe I think that what could be also useful, you talked about how Bpifrance and the French Chamber of Commerce also works together, and how you are partners within the French Tech network. But maybe could you specify how Bpifrance is different from the French Tech? How does the French Tech basically, what are the assets that the French Tech has within this French offer that is different from the others?
So a short answer could be we're completely free, where Bpifrance can be paying, I guess. But we've got very different solutions. So we are more, I would say, a network. So you come to us once you want to get involved in the network, where Bpifrance might be we're stronger on helping on market research, on perhaps structuring your strategy to approach the market. So it's different solutions. Bpifrance is involved in what we do. So to give you an example, we've got a document which we call the soft landing document, which basically helps you to get all the basic information about South Africa, about how to start your business here, what type of points you should think of before starting. And this document has been developed based on Clarisse and Bpifrance input. So, and I see that Clarisse just joined the meeting. So it's actually a real partnership that we've got with Bpifrance on that, where we use their information, and when we might stop being able to be helpful or being able to help, we will direct entrepreneurs to Bpifrance to be able to get perhaps more support to develop their projects.
That's lovely. And I see that Clarisse has raised her hand and that she is on the screen. Go ahead, Clarisse.
Yeah, hi everyone. As I'm head of department as a Bpifrance and board member at the French Tech, I thought I might add some insights on your questions. So, like Arnaud said, we work closely together on a different number of topics. The most important difference is that the French Tech is a community. Is really to foster relationships between the local entrepreneurs, whether they're French or South African. And Bpifrance, we assist French companies who want to do business in South Africa and foster business relationship between South African companies or Southern African companies, because we also work in Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, Madagascar, Mauritius, and Mozambique. So we have a broader footprint, and our role is really to help foster the business relationship, to create, to connect people, but from people who are not settled in South Africa yet. The French Tech is more on that. But we work closely together. We organize networking events together. Like Arnaud said, we work on the documents together. Like it's a real hand-on-hand collaboration, like the global team France that you will get to meet, like Ann-Mareme said. And something very important as well is that Bpifrance doesn't only help on that side, it also helps the entrepreneurs who want to settle in France, like Arnaud mentioned, which is important because we're going to have a webinar on that in the coming month, if I remember, about my colleague who works in Invest and who is going to introduce that side of Bpifrance, helping the sub-Saharan, it's even broader than Southern Africa, entrepreneurs and companies who want to settle in France. So it's really, it's really like a hand-on-hand relationship. So that's just what I wanted to add as part of Bpifrance and as the point of contact for the community, alongside Yanku, who is also in the meeting and works with me.
Thank you very much.
I give you back the mic, sorry.
No. It was great. And I think that this just shows, like the DNA of the French Tech, that is like, to bring together different key players and make it a community. Speaking of which, we have different other questions. So I've seen two questions regarding green energy and green tech. There was one that was specifically asking, if you give me one second, there was a company that specializes in recycling waste tires from South Africa, and that would like to know more about the green tech economy. And then we had another company that I suppose is interested by South Africa. That's a Moroccan company, also asking the same question. So maybe what I would like to do is maybe divide these questions into the first one being, obviously, if you have any information regarding green tech, this is what I think they're aiming to understand. And then I have an underlining question, because the second question was aiming at the Moroccan ecosystem in terms of green tech. So my second question, Arnaud, is, you've mentioned that the French network, the French tech network is quite broad. How broad is it in Africa? How many other French techs are there, and how do you guys work together?
Thank you, Ann-Mareme. So we we are just a part of the network of French tech in Africa. There are, if I'm not mistaken, 9 other communities. So there's one, and I won't be exhaustive, but there's one in Morocco, based, I guess, in Casablanca. There's one in Madagascar. There's one in Mauritius. There's one in Kenya. There's another one in Lagos, in Abidjan. So we're really like in different places according to the markets that interests the startup. They should take contact directly with the local French tech, because Clarisse mentioned that very accurately. While some of our partners are really have an African focus or even an international focus, we really have a national focus. So, or let's say a binational focus. We have an interest in helping entrepreneurs in France and in South Africa. With a big focus on South Africa. For France, we would actually refer them to the French tech community. So our focus is really on South Africa. So that's for one part of your question. The second one would be regarding our green tech, and just stop me if I'm not exactly answering your question, but we've organized a meeting with local companies to try to map them on an ecosystem. So in the mapping today, we've got probably 1,300 companies, mainly from France. Probably 1,000 of them are in France. So we still lack a lot of exhaustivity in South Africa. So we're very keen, if you know any green tech companies or green tech investors or even corporates in or around the green tech in South Africa, we're very interested in working with them and listing them on our mapping. So that's the first point. But we've got already enough contact in the ecosystem to be able to direct people and to help them to match with other potential partners. So that's the point regarding the community, and we're not limited to green tech. Is one of our big focus this year, but we're not limited to that. So we've got companies that are working in education, in financial sector, in agriculture. So we're really sector agnostic when it comes to our core activities. It's just on this green tech ecosystem exchange that we put a focus on green tech. But otherwise, we're very happy to help anyone from the startup ecosystem, and we've got in our network people from all sectors. I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, it does, and I think that well, on the first point that you have answered to, I just wanted to highlight some key elements from what you've explained. With regards to Morocco, you did specify the fact that there is a whole French tech ecosystem that is based in Morocco, and as an answer also to the startup, like I've stated in in the introduction when I was talking about the African First Entrepreneurs community, we are spread across 41 countries in Africa. And Morocco is definitely a part of one. And so just as we have these webinars with regards to South Africa, and like Clarisse said, we will have some others, presenting Bpifrance activities, others focus on some sectoral approach, others focus on some institutional presentations. We also have the same exercise for Morocco. So stay tuned as we will host one very shortly. And also, I think that what was interesting is that, Arnaud, you did specify a lot of things with regards to the specific sector of green tech. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Yanko from Bpifrance also wanted to add some elements. So Yanko, go ahead. And the other participants, I have seen your questions and we will be attacking them shortly.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Arnaud, thank you so much for joining us. I would just like to quickly introduce myself. I work with Clarisse at Bpifrance, and I'm also the contact person in South Africa for the Afrique France entrepreneur community. So feel free to reach out to me on the platform of EuroQuity. My name, so my name and surname is Janko Mare. You should be able to find me there. I don't actually have anything to add to the green tech conversation. I just had a few questions myself for Arno that might be questions that helps to clarify some questions that some of the attendees might have. So if you first want to continue on the green tech conversation, I can hold my question.
Well, being that you have the mic, go ahead, and then I'll ask the other questions that the participant had.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Arno, I wanted to ask if there are any fees for South African startups that wanted to join La French Tech community. Is there a registration fee? Is there a monthly subscription to be part of this community to benefit from your advantages?
Thank you very much, Jacobus, for this question. I think it's an important one. So, as Clarisse mentioned, we're a community. So the aim for us is really to put people together, and there's no fee for that. It's a completely free community. So you can join as an individual for free. The only offers that we might have and that might be paying is for companies if they want to partner with La French Tech, if they want to host events with us, if they want to get involved in other ways. Then we've got also possibilities for companies to get involved, and that might have a fee. But for individuals to join the community, it's completely free. And that gives you access to the network that we have, to the resources that we developed, including, for example, the soft landing document that we mentioned, but also to more information. And I'll tackle a question from Grant on that. It also gives you access to information about the activities that we do. So we don't have grants that we provide ourselves, but we can put you in touch with companies or with organizations that might. So when there's a call for grant that is in the French ecosystem, you're sure that you'll hear from it. If you're part of the French Tech South Africa community. Also, if you've got opportunities for startups to take part in international conferences, you'll hear it from La French Tech. So the French embassy took a delegation of startups to Vivatech this year, and we helped them to select these startups. So that's the type of direct assistance that we can provide for people that want to check the French or international ecosystem, or just want to raise a bit the visibility on their startups. We did that also earlier last year by enabling companies to attend some conferences in La Réunion. They were very specifically working on ocean solutions and energy solutions that could be needed in La Réunion. So we helped them to get there. So that's the type of supports that we can provide. It's not direct grant funding, but we clearly direct you to some financial resources. And I saw also another question from, and sorry, Ann-Mareme, just cut me if you want me to answer other questions at a different timing. But I see the question from Dr. Patrick Godard regarding the complexity of establishing a company in France. So we're not able to do it for you, but we're able to direct you to the right resources. Sometimes the complexity doesn't actually lie in choosing the legal structure that you need, but perhaps just being able to relocate in France. So La French Tech, and it's not really specifically something from La French Tech South Africa, but La French Tech has a program that assists you to get your visa, for example. To be able to find a place to relocate and a place to live in France. So that's the type of help that we can do. And of course, regarding the legal structure, the accounting, the tax rules, there'll be partners in the French tech ecosystem that will be able to direct you on that, and that will enable you to make the right choices. Not all these resources are free, but what is sure is that they've been vetted, so you'll be able to find people that can understand your situation and help you to make the most of your development in France.
That's lovely, and thank you, Arnaud, for transitioning, because it was the next question that I was gonna ask, and I see that Dr. Patrick is happy with your answer as well. And like Clarisse said, we will be hosting another webinar specifically on these questions of how do you go about creating your entity in France in the following months. Arnaud, you've mentioned also something. At one point, you were speaking about the questions of financing, and we all know that in entrepreneurships, partnerships are important. Financing is also another key element. So we had a question from another participant asking, does the French tech put out any calls for innovative proposal to South African entrepreneurs and provide grant funding supports?
Yeah, so on that point, we don't provide grant funding, but we will have calls for startups. So the same way we actually forwarded the call from the French embassy to take part in Viva Tech, we would do the same for any other type of programs that might be relevant for startups. So we certainly share a lot of resources for people that are looking for funds. And I want to mention one thing is that we we saw a big shift in the startup ecosystem lately to go toward that. We're not only a resource or a community for startups that are looking to become unicorns. So we're not just helping startups that want to raise a lot of funds and are just looking for investors and develop fast. We're also very happy to assist startups that are bootstrapping, that have chosen to go for profitability before growth. We're really and I want to insist on that because it's something that sometimes doesn't get well understood. We're here for all type of ecosystem or startups in the ecosystem, and so we're very happy to provide information about funds that can help to raise seed round or any type of funding that you're looking for. But we're also very happy to help startups that are not looking to raise investment, that are just looking for partners, collaboration, clients. We're very happy to assist them as well. So I thought that was an important point to make, to show that we're really addressing all the needs of startups.
Okay, that's lovely. Maybe just to just follow up on this question before asking the next one. So you do also intervene, or you can also provide advices for startups really in the ideation phase.
So we're very happy to hear from entrepreneurs that are just at the ideation phase. We would be able to provide them support in the sense of we could put them in touch with right partners to test their idea. We don't have today any specific programs, let's say incubation or any programs that could help them to develop their idea per se. So it's basically just our members that will give some of the time to be able to answer some questions. So it might be very limited for someone that is just at the ideation phase, in the sense that they might need a more thorough support to be able to develop their ideas, but we'll certainly be able to direct them to the right type of partners. I saw that there was an incubator that sent a message earlier that was based in Port Elizabeth. I think we've got in our network some incubators and some accelerators, mainly based. Actually, we didn't add anyone in Port Elizabeth, so that's great. We're reaching new people here, but in Cape Town, in Johannesburg, in Pretoria, we've got these type of contacts, and so we can put them in touch with these people. We won't be able to assist them directly with any programs that we've developed in-house.
Okay. Thank you very much, Arnaud. Maybe another question that has also been asked within the chat was around the different events that were mentioned. So I'll first give you the floor because I think I also have a couple of answers to this question. But earlier you were talking about how one of the missions of the French Tech in South Africa is to animate the local startup ecosystem, and you did talk about Le Bridge. mentioning the fact that there was one that was hosted, the last theme was on AI, and that the next theme is on education with Dassault System. So are these, just to specify, the question was, are these online or physical events? What are the locations? How do we attend, and how do we find out about them?
Yes, thank you for these questions. So the events are, and for the ones that we mentioned, they're all physical events. They take place depending on the months in Cape Town or in Johannesburg. So I want to say wherever you are in South Africa, we should have an event not too far, at least in the economic centers. So that's the first point. We will try to get the event captured on video to be able to enable people to access them even if they're not located where the event takes place. So that's for the first point. Regarding how to participate, so on our website, which is FrenchTechSouthAfrica.com, you're able to find all the events that we organize, and you can register from there. Our events are free to attend for the same reason that I mentioned earlier. It's a community. The aim for us is to try to get as many people in as we can. So they're free. As long as you're a member, but becoming a member is free as well. So it's a no-brainer. And to become a member and receive all the information about our next event, you can just go to our website. So it's FrenchTechSouthAfrica.com. Everything in just one word, French Tech South Africa. And you just have to provide a few information about you, so your name, your company name, and then you'll be able to get through and receive all the information that we provide.
That's lovely. Thank you, Arnaud. And as a compliment also to, an additional point to what was mentioned by Arnaud, you also have the African French Entrepreneurs Community. I think that we've spoken about it. It is both, the physical and the digital aspect of it, where we also relay everything related to tech and innovation in South Africa. So I think that we will be more than happy to post within the community, when the next bridge is happening, and put the links so that you can join the French Techs, or how do you say, the French Tech networking opportunities that present themselves with Le Bridge. Maybe going on another question, and well, I mean, I've been doing this since the start, doubling up on the questions that are asked and also asking my questions. So we had one regarding specifically the creative industry. So with an entrepreneur asking, do you support partnerships in the creative industries, art fused with digital technologies? So that's one question within it. And then the other question that I have, since we're speaking about sectors, is from your experience, what are the most proactive sectors that you can find, both within the South African landscape and specifically within the French Tech network? Do you have certain sectors that are more represented than others?
So first, I would say it's really sector agnostic. So basically, you can find like any type of startups and any type of sector. When it comes to the creative industry, actually in South Africa we've got, and Bpifrance also work with them, so it's something that they could also elaborate on. But we've got some great events, for example the African Game Week, where you've got all the sector of gaming. There was lately in South Africa an event, and French Tech wasn't involved, but it's to give you the idea of like the French team network that is involved in. There was an event on museums and how we keep all the heritage of museum alive and things like that. So there is definitely a big creative industry tech sector, and we're very happy to have some as part of our members. So if you are in this sector, you're welcome to join us, and we'll be happy to provide information regarding our other partners and members. So that's the first point. Regarding the sectors that are the most represented in La French Tech in South Africa, it's really very diverse. We've got a big focus on green tech at the moment, so that's where we try to get the most new members, but we really have members in all sectors. And when it comes to La French Tech in general, there's also they're also sector agnostic. So you'll find, according to the French Tech community that you approach, the same type of focus that you would find in the local economy. So if you go to, I don't know, if you go to Bordeaux, you might have more agri-tech because, or even specifically working with wine, because that's one of their big topic there. If you go to the south of France, there'll be also some green tech. So it's really linked to the local economy and the network that they've got there. But it's sector agnostic. So whatever sector you're in, for sure, there'll be other potential partners that you'll find at La French Tech that are involved in this sector.
Thank you very much, Arnaud. So there was another question, and then it will be my pleasure to also, like, you know, at the start, I mentioned the fact that we would also have a company that's a member of the French Tech presenting itself, maybe giving a few examples on how the French Tech was useful for the development of their company. So right before giving the floor to Émilie de la Vallée for her presentation of EuroQuity and how EuroQuity is part of the French Tech, there was a very operational question on: do you have any flyers or info page of these programs that we can share with our alumni group? So I'm guessing, Arnaud, yeah, maybe a quick answer on that, and then Émilie, it'll be up to you.
Sure. So we've got a LinkedIn page. You can find what we do on LinkedIn, French Tech South Africa, and then you'll find it also on our website, so FrenchTechSouthAfrica.com, and that's where we've got all the information regarding what we do.
That's lovely. And if you would not mind, Arnaud, maybe also, you know, if you have a brochure of presentation of the French Tech, we would be more than willing to put it in the data room of the African French entrepreneurs community so that the others could also benefit from that. So, and thank you for putting the website within the chat. So everyone, feel free to go to FrenchTechSouthAfrica.com for more information. And I'm also asking quite briefly, Tin Hinan from our team of Bpifrance, could you also put into the chat the link for the African French entrepreneurs community, so that people can also register and, like, you know, access the other information that we've had on what we've spoken about Morocco, but we also have 41 other African markets that we host webinars and sessions on, so feel free to register. And Émilie, I do not know if you can hear us. If you could also, yeah, that's great. We can see you and we can hear you. So presenting Émilie de la Vallée from EuroQuity Africa, a startup based in South Africa and member of the French Tech. Thank you so much, Émilie, for connecting, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ann-Mareme and Arnaud. So yes, I would like to thank a lot the French Tech and the French Embassy for this opportunity to connect. So my name is Émilie de la Vallée. I'm the MD of EuroQuity Africa, and I'm very grateful for being with you today and in South Africa for 10 years. So let me tell you a bit more about EuroQuity Africa first. So it's a very, very recent story for us. EuroQuity Africa was launched in March last year. And we are now a team of 8 people. We are based in South Africa, in Pretoria, and we started our activities in Ivory Coast in September last year. So what do? We are a consulting and engineering company, and we specialize in the development of eco-resilient industries. So basically, we tackle the energy, carbon, climate, circularity nexus with a strong focus on industries. And to date, we've secured 8 projects. And it's not because I'm French. I really don't want to go back, but the team France, so Business France, Bpifrance, the French Tech, the French Chamber of Commerce, the team France has played a very important role in our first steps through funding mechanisms, through networking events, through solidarity within the French and the South African communities. And we really expect them to play a significant role in our journey. And one good example, so I'm really grateful for their support, and what they do is just great, as much as is needed. So one good example of this is a Change Now event. I don't know if you've heard about this event. I was not aware of it before the French Tech called me and said, oh, would you like to participate to this event in Paris? And I said, yes, of course. I looked at it, and I had the opportunity to go with two other startups, two other South African startups a few months ago. And it's the largest, I mean, it's the best event I've never been to be honest. It's the largest event for sustainability. It mixes both technologies, but humanity. You've got thousands of innovation solutions, world-class conferences and workshops. You've got the possibility to network with thousands of leaders for change. It's all about inspiration and art and emotion. So just to say that, you know, this is really the kind of experience you can expect through engaging with the French Tech. So very high quality, and I would say in line with this new world we all have to shape. So I don't know if you've got specific questions.
Well, thank you very much, Emilie. I think that was really interesting, and I think that, you know, this information that you were talking about, Change Now, and how this network also, like the French Tech Network, enabled you to, like, you know, identify these opportunities. I hope that this also serves, because we had, like, you weren't connected yet, but we had like different companies mentioning the fact that they were in green tech. And that they were, like, you know, looking for more information with regards to what the French network could do with regards to their activities. So I don't know if it could be of any interest, and if you could be interested in doing so, but if you're okay with it, Emilie, maybe we could, like, give your contacts to these entrepreneurs, or maybe send you their contacts, as you may have some tips or advices to them eventually. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. But you know, like, you were mentioning the fact that EuroQuity's activities did start in Ivory Coast, and that you implanted recently in Johannesburg. No, I don't know if it's Johannesburg, South Africa.
Yes, we did start first in South Africa, and then in Ivory Coast, and we are busy now doing some prospect, still with the support of the Team France in Kenya.
Okay. I should have, like, you know, no, it was South Africa and then Ivory Coast. But then I think that you can still answer my my question, which is, when you started off in South Africa, what are the main, and I also asked the question to Arnaud, because you are in interaction with entrepreneurs oftentimes. What are the main challenges that tech companies operating in South Africa face, and how can the French network, I'm also looking at Business France and the French Embassy, how did you either go about tackling these challenges, or how can you intervene to help tackle these challenges?
Yes, so we, EuroQuity Africa, we are a startup within, let's say, an SME, a French company. So our mother company is in French. The biggest challenge we had is to really convince our mother company to start this adventure and this journey in Africa, because they are a bit risk averse, and this again has been made possible through funding mechanisms that's been provided by Bpifrance. So I would say it was really, we saw big potential from our mother company, and it was really about convincing, you know, the management in France to say, "Allez, let's go, guys, in Africa." And then when you start, because we really did start from scratch, it's about getting, you know, accessing visibility, accessing credibility, accessing also companies that's going to to start with us, to give us a chance, and this has been really possible with the support of the French and the South African communities. So access to visibility, credibility, and get the first project and take it from there.
Thank you, Emily. Anything that Arnaud, Janko would like to add?
On my side, I would just say that the needs of each company are usually very diverse and different according to their stage, to what they're looking for, to like Hiroko, are they present in other African countries, or is it the first time that they try to address the African market? So there's really a lot of different type of companies that can approach us, and we try to adapt to what they ask us. So there's not a single ask that they would have. I mean, probably because of the current struggle that it is, but a lot of people address us with like visa issues and asking us, how could I get my visa? That's not something we can help on, but we can just direct you to lawyers that are good at addressing it. Where we can really help startups is more connecting to the right partners. So trying to identify if you're a South African entrepreneurs and you want to get to France, as for Hiroko and Emily, like what is the best event that you could attend and that could open some doors for you? So there's Vivatech, there's Change Now, but there's others. So that's the type of support that we can provide. We're not extremely hands-on, so we won't be able to get into your business and help you to do stuff, but we'll be able to direct you to the right place.
Thank you.
And also, I would say that it's a kind of a roller coaster journey when you start a business, and it's good to get the support, the solidarity, to talk to people. Yeah, don't stay alone, and try to engage with, I would say, yeah, two new people per day, and it's a good way to do this with through the French Tech.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Enli. Bpifrance team, would you like to add anything, either Clarisse or Janko? Or we also have the French Embassy and their Department of Innovation and Tech Connected. So would you want to further add on the solutions or the challenges that you have identified and how you can best tackle them?
One thing that I would mention is, if you are interested and open to, so the mandate of Bpifrance is to help French companies who are interested in exploring the Southern African market. We try to assist them in doing that. So we would try, depending on what their needs and their objectives are, we try to identify suppliers, partners, clients that might be interested in their solutions. And if you in your startup would like to be eligible or to be considered when one of these people come, please feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, you can find me on the community and send me a message there, and I'd like to get in touch with you to hear what exactly are the needs of your company, what is it that you are interested in, and what would you like to be considered for. Because I think I don't want to repeat what Emily said, but I think one of the biggest advantages of being part of this community is that there are so many people that are connected, that know people who know people, that have already gone through a challenge that you might be going through, that already reached this obstacle and said, you know what, this is what brought breakthrough for me when I reached this stage of my startup journey. So, and it's free. That's the best thing.
Thank you very much, Janko, Emily, and Arnaud. Maybe just to sum it up, I'll try, because it was a 1 hour long discussion with, like, you know, some great questions, some great presentations. What I also absolutely loved was that the startups also, like, you know, use the time to present themselves. We had some French, we had some Moroccans, we had some South African, and like I said, I will also be following up with, like, you know, the obviously the permission granted by Arnaud and Emily by putting you in relationships so that you can either further the discussion, either build on some partnerships within, this network. So if I just summarize what I have understood from this presentation of the French Tech is that the French Tech, as the name indicates, does intervene to support French startups in developing their activities, in finding some investment opportunities, like Emily has stated, also to participate in some relevant events. The French Tech Network also assists some South African entrepreneurs by helping them, yes, develop their activities, but also set foot in France or through other countries. Like we said, there are, I think, 10 other French Tech networks in Africa, like Arnaud stated. And obviously tackling some questions of law, of the legal entities, and so on and so forth, the tax environment within the countries. And obviously, and I think that this was the last point, last but not least, the French Tech also intervenes to help create an ecosystem. It is a free community where there are exchanges and opportunities where everyone can benefit from each other's experiences. So thank you very much to everyone. I hope that you have all the information to now join the French Tech, and that you have all of the information to join the Africa and French entrepreneurs community, where we will be hosting some other webinars specific to South Africa. I think that the next one is actually in 10 days. We did talk about Viva Tech, where there was a delegation of 8 startups that the French embassy funded to come here in Paris, that will be participating to give their return of experiences. We will have another one based on the theme of how to create, as an African entrepreneur, your entity in France. And these are just some of the webinars that we have on South Africa. You also have the networking opportunities that we will be sharing, Le Bridge, Ambition Africa, the huge event hosted by Bpifrance, connecting French and African entrepreneurs. But also, like we stated, the community is specific to other countries. So if you connect on the African French entrepreneurs community, you will not only have insight on South Africa, on Namibia, on Ghana, on Côte d'Ivoire, on Senegal, on Tunisia, on Morocco, on Egypt. I'm going to stop because we have a huge continent and I'm not going to cite 54 countries. But once again, it was amazing having you all. Thank you, Bpifrance. Thank you, the French Embassy. Thank you, the French Tech. Thank you, EuroQuity Africa. And thank you most of all to your entrepreneurs. And we will see you soon for our next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thanks.